Dark Shadows, number 89, VTR 101866, air 102766, take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. For more than 130 years, the foreboding mansion of Collinwood has stood on the top of Widow's Hill like a giant headstone, marking the watery graves of fishermen who have perished in the sea below. It is a monument to one man, Jeremiah Collins, and his dreams. But when men dream, spoilers always seem to lurk nearby, ready to destroy their dreams, turning them into nightmares, even in a small family town like Collinsport.
Tell me, Blair, what's your feeling about the cost figures on some of these properties?
It's a lot of money, Mr. Deadwood.
Well, do you think it's all worth the money that's involved?
If you're asking me, are the prices fair, I can answer in one word, yes. On the other hand, if you're asking, is it worth it, only you can answer that question.
It's worth it.
Well, then, you'll be happy to know that your bid is in on the Logansport Fishing Industries.
Good. Has anyone else made a bid?
Not so far. Tell me, are you dead set on going ahead with this deal?
If it kills me.
I tell you, Liz, Victoria Winters is a dangerous young lady to have in this house. She has these delusions, which I'm sure is just nothing but the result of an overactive imagination. Like this business of seeing Malloy's ghost. It's ridiculous.
I'm not so sure.
Malloy knows what we can expect if she decides to have another vision.
What exactly are you trying to say, Roger?
I'm saying get rid of her. She could threaten David's safety. It's plain she doesn't like the boy. And there are times when I sense he's afraid of her.
David afraid of her? After what happened last night, I think it's the other way around. Hello? Yes, this is Mrs. Stoddard. Oh, hello, Mr. Garner. You just heard what? He did? How much did he offer? Of course I intend to do something about it. How much do you think I'll need? That much? No, I can't give you an answer right now. How much time do I have? I see. All right, I'll call you back, Mr. Garner. Thank you for calling.
What is it?
Burke. His man Blair just made an offer for the Logansport fishing fleet and cannery.
Interesting.
Interesting. Is that all you can say? Don't you know what it means? Burke plans to go in competition with us. I won't let him do it.
How do you intend to stop it?
I'll top his bid.
With what? If you top it, he'll just raise his bid. You can't win at his game, Liz.
I'll think of something.
How much time do we have?
10 days.
10 days? Oh, forget it, Liz. We couldn't raise that kind of money in 10 years. Let him have the Logan's cannery.
You never were much of a fighter, Roger. That's where we're different. I am, and I intend to fight him with everything I've got.
Why don't you face it, Liz? He's too much for you. He has endless resources. What do you have?
There was a time when I depended on you. Now I wonder.
Blair, how long will it take to close the deal on Logansport?
Now, that depends.
On what?
Don't you think you've underestimated Mrs. Stoddard?
No, I don't think so.
From what I hear, she's a pretty strong woman. She may put up a mean fight when she learns what you're up to.
Well, Blair, what has she got to fight with? A nephew who runs to me. I'm his idol, an infatuated daughter, a weakling brother she can't depend on. I also have planted a housekeeper in her home to let me know what she's up to. She's alone. She has nothing to fight with.
Maybe she has.
Who does she have?
The men who work for her are loyal. They like her. Even you know that. They've been with her for years. They're good men. That's why Collins Enterprises has always been successful. And why, conversely, that Logansport is up for sale. How can you compete with her unless you can find men like these?
Money talks. Money buys loyalty. Everyone has a price. Name it and you can buy them. Some just come a little higher than others, that's all. But everyone is for sale.
I'm not so sure.
Well, I am. I've called a meeting here this morning. Excuse me. Yes. Yes, I'm expecting them, sure. Yeah, that's all right. Send them right up. Thank you. See, Blair, money talks. Now you're just going to see how conversational it can be. You see, I got a few little tricks up my sleeve. Oh, gentlemen, come in. Zev, how are you? Ezra? John, I'm glad you could come.
Hello, Burke.
Hello, Amos. I'd like you to meet my business associate, Mr. Blair. Amos Fitch, the fishing captain of Collins' fleet.
Mr. Fitch.
This is Mr. Dare.
How are you, Mr. Adair?
Mr. Belladot.
How are you?
Mr. Cartwright. All top men for Collins. Known these men a long time. We're good friends. Good old friends, aren't we?
You said we had a business proposition to talk over. What is it?
Same old Fitch, huh? Never waste time or words, eh, Amos? Well, I like that. I'm the same way. All right, gentlemen, sit down. Sit down, please. Make yourselves comfortable.
Thank you.
All right. I'll come right to the point. I'm going to buy the Logansport Fishing Enterprises. My bid is in.
Congratulations, Burke. But you didn't ask us up here just to tell us that, did you?
No. I asked you up here to make you an offer. A very generous offer.
Hold it a minute, Burke. We better get something straight before you go ahead. I'm going to tell you.
Now, just a minute. Let me finish. Hear me out. Now, what I'm about to say may be very important to all of you. I'm going to take over the Logansport fishing canneries, and I want your help. I know you can make it into a first-rate outfit, and I know I can do it with your help.
I thought that's what you were going to say, Burke. Well, speaking for myself, I've been with the Collins outfit too long to make a change. I'm leaving the building of new enterprises to you younger men. Besides, I like it there. The Collins family has always treated me right. You fellas agree with me, don't you?
Oh, now, wait a minute, John. Sit down. Sit down, John. Ezra, sit down. Hear my proposition before you make up your minds. Zeb, hear me out. Amos, you just made my point for me. Sure, you guys have been working a lot of years, a lot of hard years in this business. But what have you got to show for it? You don't own anything. If you had to quit tomorrow, it'd be really rough on you and your families. And I want to see that you've earned much more than you're getting. And I want to give it to you.
Like what?
Well, I'll let Mr. Blair explain what I mean.
What Mr. Devlin is saying, gentlemen, is that it's time your years and experience started to pay off. You'll be making more money than you've ever been paid before. And what's more, every one of you will be in on a profit-sharing deal. No more depending on weekly paychecks. This is your chance to earn big money. And don't tell me it doesn't mean anything to you.
All right, men, let's talk. First, I'll give you the details. Now, when I tell you what I have, the plan that I have, I want you to speak up. Anything you don't agree with, just let me know. And at the end, if you don't like it, you can walk out of here, and there'll be no hard feelings. Okay? Now, first, Zeb. How would you like a drink, huh? Ezra? Mr. Blair, why don't you fix the boys a drink, all right?
Burke has a lot going for him, and a lot of people behind him. And what do we have? We would have to fight this alone, Liz.
Not exactly.
What do you mean, not exactly?
Actually, we're not alone. We have people Burke will never have. People he could never buy. They'll help us fight.
Who are these people?
Well, the men who work for us. We can count on every one of them to stick by us. Even Burke's money can't buy their loyalty.
Forget loyalty, gentlemen. That is not the issue. What I'm saying is, if you don't take my proposition, my offer there, I'm saying right now, when you come over to Collinsport, from Collinsport over to Logansport, you're gonna find it very hard to find any jobs over there. You know what I mean, Amos? Amos, there are not going to be any more jobs around here as soon as I take over Logansport. You understand that? So I'm giving you guys this one chance. This one chance. Now, what do you say? Will you come along with me?
I think I'm gonna make my move right now. You seem pretty sure of yourself. The Collins family has been in business a long time. They'll fight. They won't let you take over.
Now, let me tell you something, Amos. I'm going to take over. And there's nothing the Collins family can do about it. Nothing.
All right? Let's say worst does come to worst and Burke takes over Logansport. How's he going to run it? He'll need experienced help, won't he?
Naturally.
Well, where's he going to find it? There's not one man in this entire area left with enough experience and background for the help he needs to run Logansport.
Well, then he'll have to go out of this area to recruit his people. And again, he's got the money. And money always has a way of finding people.
That remark seems to have an edge to it. Roger, what are you driving at?
But if you were in his spot, what would you do? Where would you go to get the best and most competent people in this entire area?
He wouldn't dare to try to steal our men. Why, they've been with us for years. It's their loyalty that's going to help us fight Burke.
And I hope you're right, Liz. But I'm afraid that loyalty, like most things, always goes to the highest bidder.
I'll get it. Oh, Amos, please come in. Seeing you here at this time of day must mean that something's wrong.
There is, Mrs. Stoddard. Something real wrong. Burke Devlin called me.
Go on.
Well, he called me up and asked me to get in touch with Ahern, Bilodeau, and Cartwright. He said that he had some important business that he wanted to talk over with us at his room in the hotel.
What did he want?
Well, I talked it over with the other boys, and we all agreed that we ought to go over and find out what was so important. When we got there, Burke told us he was going to take over Logansport Enterprises. The fleet, the canning industry, everything. Then he gives us this big pitch that he wants us to ditch Collins and join up with him.
I don't believe it.
It was a shocker, all right. I listened to him, and, well, the more I listened, the madder I got, so I shoved off.
What about the other men? Did they leave with you when you walked out on Burke?
No. No, Mr. Collins, they didn't leave. They were still there when I left. They were listening to Burke's offers and his threats.
His threats.
He said that if we didn't come over to Logansport with him, we'd all be out of work soon. He said there won't be any Collins fishing fleet or canning industry or anything else when he gets through.
What was his offer?
Well, mostly money, Mrs. Stoddard. He offered us more money and a share of the profits. He said he'd cut us in on a piece of the business.
Was there anything else?
No, that's just about the size of it.
I see. Thank you, Amos. You've been a good friend.
Is there anything I can do? I'd sure like to help out.
You've done a great deal already. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoddard. Mr. Collins.
Thank you again, Amos.
Goodbye now.
Well, it seems as though Burke Devlin has reduced this fight to money versus loyalty. And whenever those two are matched in the same ring, there's always a quick decision.
Well, Blair, what do you think?
I don't know.
Well, I do. I hit them where they live. They'll go along with me, I know it.
Don't you think you're a bit overconfident?
How do you figure?
I figure Fitch. He didn't buy. He was downright mad when he walked out of here.
Oh, I can handle him. He may be a little harder, but he's got a price.
I wouldn't count on it. He struck me as the kind of man who would leave this room and go over and tell the Collinses the whole story.
I hope so. There's no fun in conquest unless the opponent puts up a little fight. That's exactly what I want him to do. I take pleasure in watching them squirm.
Well, even a squirming worm can wriggle itself out of a hook.
Not if a good fisherman baits the hook.
How many fish do you think you caught?
Well, I was watching him like a courtroom lawyer. I think I got 3.
3?
Well, let's say that I got 1. Just 1. If I can convince one man, just one man away from Collins to Logansport, the rest will come running like sheep.
What makes you so sure?
Well, because he'll be my good luck insurance. You see, as soon as the rest of the guys see all the money that this man will be spending, this hard, cold cash he's throwing around, they'll go to my employment office like flies.
Well, Mr. Devlin, you seem to have all the answers. If you have nothing else for me to do, I'll be running along.
Yeah.
I want to get back to Bangor. See how things are coming at that end.
All right, Blair, keep me posted. Oh, and Blair. Let's not have any slip-ups, understand?
Of course. As a word of caution, I think the only slip-up could be Fitch. I don't think that his loyalty can be bought at any price. At least that's the way I figure it.
Oh. Well, that reminds me. I have a little something for you, for your loyalty. There's $1,000 in there. I want you to put it in your pocket. You see, I understand how expensive loyalty is. So I'd like to have a little extra around just in case I need it.
Look, Mr. Devlin.
Forget it, Blair. I think we understand one another, don't we?
Of course. I'll be in touch.
So long. Yes?
Mr. Devlin,
Yes, this is Burke Devlin.
this is Elizabeth Stoddard.
Oh, it's you. I've been expecting your call, Mrs. Stoddard.
Burke, I know what you're up to, and I can promise you one thing. You won't get away with it. You've just pulled the lowest, most contemptible thing you could possibly do.
It's obvious that there's no love involved here, so let's just say all's fair in war.
If you're looking for a fight, Burke, you'll get it. You're through pushing the Collins family.
I'd say the Collins family could use a push. You're all in a rut.
Look, Burke, I'm just going to remind you of one thing. You don't own Logansport yet. I'll stop you if it takes every cent I have.
You'd better save your last few pennies for a newspaper. Then you can read about how I not only took over Logansport, but the Collins enterprises as well.
From that, I take it we are committed to a fight for survival.
That's the way it is, Roger. It's Burke Devlin or it's us.
Baseball's great Willie Mays guest stars on Bewitched. Watch the fun when he attends a Halloween party where it's Twitch or Treat. That's Bewitched tonight, followed by That Girl, starring Marlo Thomas, here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.